what are we doing here, Tim?
Yeah, Dad actually built all of this, but I'm the brains behind
She's the brains of it. Exactly.
So what we're doing today is we're actually doing a gutter style method for strawberry growing. So you can see down here we have a strawberry patch. This strawberry patch hasn't been super productive for a number of reasons. You can see also the soil has really sunk down and really needs kind of topped up anyways. So this is going to be perfect because we're going to be removing these plants. And then we can top this up and use it for other vegetables and things like that. So the strawberry patch hasn't been super productive because they've had a lot of pest issues, bugs and insects.
Yes, we have.
And as you can see, you've got
Chipmunks,
it. Oh, and they take up a tremendous amount of space here.
And they keep growing.
Yes. So strawberries spread by rhizomes, and they're very shallow rooted plants. So this gutter style method is interesting because it's going to bring everything up off the ground, so it's going to reduce your pest pressure because the strawberries will actually not be on like wet soil, so you won't have insects and things to worry about. It also will keep them from molding and rotting as quickly because they're going to hang. And as you can imagine, it's going to be much easier to harvest these strawberries because they'll be right here, you know, at arm's length, and you won't have to bend over, and there will be no like bending over to harvest them, etc. The other thing about this method is it produces, or it allows for a lot more space. So this isn't a huge raised bed garden enclosure area. So really maximizing your space in something like this is going to be really important. So we're actually going vertical. So all of this is going to maximize the space because now we're going to open up this entire bed to be able to grow vegetables or whatever it is that they choose to grow here. As you can imagine, this is really going to be the perfect setup for a lot of reasons. Something this shallow wouldn't really be the best situation for a lot of plants, but because strawberries are so shallowly rooted and spread by rhizomes, this will be perfect. We've drilled drainage holes all along the bottom to allow for drainage. We don't want standing water. That will kill your strawberry plants, as if we have standing water in here. As you can see, these posts, actually Dad added these posts for support of the gutters, and then we just use basic gutter supports like you would. These are just regular housing gutters. There's nothing special about these, and they come in a number of different colors and materials. They opted for, I think, the metal because they wanted brown, and I don't think that the PVC option offered a brown color. So that's what they decided to do, but they have, the basic white as well as tan and black. Really, you could spray paint it any color you wanted if you really wanted to. So let's get going. So we got our soil in, we added a little bit of perlite, and now we're going to add just a little bit of, I like Dr. Earth fertilizer. There's lots of brands out there, but Dr. Earth's a nice organic fertilizer. We're just using a tomato, vegetable, and herb fertilizer. It's a 4, 6, and 3% ratio. And so we'll just add a little bit in here, and then, kind of probably the easiest thing to do will be to add a little fertilizer every year or throughout their growing season, but this will give it a nice start for when we freshly transplant these.
So will we do this exact same thing next year, fertilizing it like this?
You'll just put the fertilizer around the plant next year, or use a liquid fish emulsion, or liquid kelp emulsion, and just water. I would say probably like once every 2-3 weeks, whenever you go to water this, actually mix the fish or kelp emulsion in your watering can, and then water it with that. So you'll mix it up like in your watering can and come in here and actually be fertilizing and watering essentially. Okay, so here I'm going to show you how we're going to separate some of these. We already moved a lot of them, but you can see like they're all attached by these runners. So we're going to find the crown of the plant. So here you see some new foliage coming up from the crown of this plant. This soil is actually so soft that I hardly even need a spade, but we want to just protect the roots. You kind of want to get in on all sides. I mean, some root damage is going to be inevitable, but you really want to try to protect as much of the root as you can. And I'm going to bring up the entire plant, shake it off here so you can see here real good. So this is the crown of the plant. Strawberries absolutely loathe being buried too deeply, and they will rot. So this crown, when we're transplanting it, you want to make sure that this crown is completely above the soil line, and you don't want to plant it like deeply. You really want to plant it kind of shallow here, and we'll bring the soil level to the base of this crown. So while we're doing this, it's a really easy time to just cut off some of the old foliage. I'm going to have Mom go ahead and do that. Just cut off some of the dead stuff, cut off these runners. They will produce more runners as we go. And as those plants in the gutters produce more runners, they can actually be separated from the main plant and then repotted elsewhere or whatnot. So you can see this has a really nice root system on it. It's a healthy root system. Because we're going to be transplanting it into just like a 4-inch depth, it won't hurt anything to kind of do some root pruning too. So really right where the base of my hand is, yep, just give it a haircut. And that won't hurt anything. In fact, that'll probably stimulate some growth. So here's our plant. Let's transplant. So we put the fertilizer and everything in, and we're all ready to go here. Spacing is really kind of up to you. If you're planning to maximize your space, I would say you're totally safe to do like 4 to 6 inches of space. Some people prefer to space them more widely if they don't want to really have to worry about maybe moving some plants or thinning things out. I prefer to intensively plant because I want maximum harvest like my very first year. So it's really up to you what you decide to do. You know, I'm just sort of planting this up how I would my garden, and I really like to intensively plant. If you've ever seen my garden, I pack it in. I have a very small space and I pack in so I get maximum production. These are perennials, so we may as well get a great harvest our first year and pack in as many plants as possible. You can always get rid of plants if it's too much for you. So I'm just gonna go ahead, we already have our fertilizer in here. I'm gonna place my plant, and as I said, being careful about the crown of the plant, I'm just gonna grab some of this raised bed soil, and really if any soil falls out, it doesn't matter because I'm standing in a raised bed right now, so it's just gonna go right into the bed below me, which is rather nice. I don't have to worry about cleaning up, sweeping up, and I'll just basically take the soil and bring it around the plant, and ta-da, that's it. And then we'll go ahead and press it a little bit, clean up the edges, and once we're done here, we'll water in.